Hey everyone, 50% of people fail their DMV test. Pass on your first try with dmvtestmaster.com.
Hey there! Taking your driving permit test can feel like a huge challenge, but it doesn't have to be. Let's forget those boring textbooks and make this easy. First, it would be a smart move for you to register on dmvtestmaster.com to practice. In this video, we're going to break down the permit test into simple, manageable parts, just like we're prepping for a game show. Think of this as getting your driver's license before you even get your license. Let's dive into the most important categories, and I'll throw in some quick tips along the way. Part 1. The road signs and signals round. Knowing your signs is like knowing the secret language of the road. Let's start with a few of the trickier ones. Question 1. What does a diamond-shaped sign with a picture of a winding arrow indicate? A winding road ahead. Question 2. What is the meaning of a yellow triangular sign with a black Y on it? It's a Y intersection sign. You're approaching a fork in the road. Question 3. What's the difference between a stop sign and a yield sign? A stop sign is an 8-sided red sign that means you must come to a complete stop. A yield sign is an inverted triangle that means you must slow down and be prepared to stop to let other traffic go first. Question 4. You see a sign shaped like a pentagon with 2 people walking on it. What does that mean? It's a school zone sign. You need to slow down and watch for children. Question 5. What does a red flashing traffic light mean? The same as a stop sign. You have to come to a complete stop and then proceed only when it's safe. Question 6. What does a sign shaped like a circle with an X and 2 R's on it indicate? An upcoming railroad crossing. You must be prepared to stop. Question 7. What is a red circle with a white horizontal line in the middle? It's a do not enter sign. Question 8. What does a yellow sign with a black arrow curving to the right and a smaller arrow pointing straight ahead mean? It indicates that the right lane is ending or merging. Question 9. What does a sign with a red slash through a picture of a bicycle mean? No bicycles allowed. Question 10. What's the meaning of a green arrow pointing to the right at a traffic light? You can make a right turn, but you must yield to pedestrians and other traffic. Quick tip. Before the test, go for a walk or a drive just to look at signs. It helps them stick in your head better than just looking at pictures in a book. Part 2. The rules of the road. Round. This is the main event. It's all about how you interact with other cars and pedestrians. Question 11. When are you legally allowed to make a U-turn? When it's safe, there isn't a sign prohibiting it, and it won't interfere with other traffic. You should also avoid U-turns on hills or curves. Question 12. If you are driving on a 2-lane road and an emergency vehicle with flashing lights approaches from behind, what should you do? You must pull over to the right side of the road and stop, safely and as soon as possible, to let it pass. Question 13. When are you required to use your headlights? From 30 minutes after sunset to 30 minutes before sunrise, and any time visibility is low, like in rain, fog, or snow. Question 14. What's the 3-second rule, and why is it important? It's a way to maintain a safe following distance. You pick a landmark, and as the car in front of you passes it, you count 1001, 1002, 1003. If you pass the landmark before you finish counting, you're following too closely. Question 15. If you're at an intersection with no stop signs or traffic lights, who has the right of way? The person on the right. Question 16. What is the legal speed limit in a business or residential district, unless otherwise posted? 25 miles per hour. Question 17. What does a broken white line on the road mean? It separates lanes of traffic moving in the same direction, and you may change lanes if it is safe to do so. Question 18. When must you stop for a school bus? You must stop for a school bus with flashing red lights and an extended stop arm, regardless of your direction of travel, unless you are on the opposite side of a divided highway. Question 19. What is the rule for passing a cyclist? You must give them at least 3 feet of space when passing. Question 20. What is a no zone for trucks? The large blind spots on the sides, front, and back of a truck where a car is hidden from the driver's view. Quick tip. Remember that the person on the right is a rule of thumb, but it's always about being courteous. The real rule is to avoid an accident. Don't be a hero. Be a good driver. Part 3. The Parking and Maneuvering Round. This section tests if you know how to park without hitting anything. A true test of skill. Question 21. What's the first thing you should do before changing lanes? Check your mirrors, signal, and then check your blind spot over your shoulder. Question 22. When parallel parking, how far should your wheels be from the curb? Within 18 inches. Question 23. When parking uphill with a curb, which way should you turn your wheels? Away from the curb. So if the car rolls, it will roll back and into the curb, not into the street. Question 24. When parking downhill with a curb, which way should you turn your wheels? Towards the curb. If the car rolls, it will roll into the curb. Question 25. What does a solid white line on the road mean? It marks the edge of the road or separates lanes moving in the same direction, and you should not cross it. Question 26. What does a broken yellow line on the road mean? It separates lanes of traffic moving in opposite directions, and you are allowed to pass when it's safe. Question 27. Where is it illegal to park? In a crosswalk, in front of a fire hydrant, or in a disabled person's parking space, unless you have a valid placard. Question 28. When backing up, what is the proper way to check for traffic and pedestrians? You should turn your head and look over your right shoulder, as well as use your mirrors. Question 29. How far should you park from a fire hydrant? At least 15 feet. Question 30. What should you do if your turn signal is not working? Use hand signals to indicate your turns and stops. Quick tip. Parallel parking is a challenge for most new drivers. Don't be afraid to practice with a few cones or empty boxes in a parking lot. It's easier than it looks when you break it down into steps. Part 4. The Safety and Emergency Round. This is about knowing what to do when things get a little crazy. Question 31. What should you do if your car starts to hydroplane? Don't slam on the brakes. Take your foot off the gas and steer in the direction you want to go. Don't make any sudden movements. Question 32. What is the most common cause of car accidents? Driver error or inattention, like distracted driving. The number 1 distraction? Cell phones. Question 33. What's the first thing you should do after a car crash? Check if anyone is hurt and call 911. Then, if you can, move your car to a safe location out of the way of traffic. Question 34. What should you do if your brakes fail while driving? Shift to a lower gear to use the engine to slow down, pump the brake pedal to build pressure, and use the parking brake slowly. Question 35. If you're about to be hit from the rear, what should you do? Press your head firmly against the headrest and be ready to brace for impact. Question 36. What's the best way to handle a tire blowout? Grip the steering wheel firmly, take your foot off the gas, and let the car slow down gradually before pulling off the road. Question 37. What should you do if you encounter a dust storm? Slow down, pull off the road and turn off your lights, and wait for the storm to pass. Question 38. What should you do if your accelerator sticks? Shift to neutral and apply the brakes. Question 39. What is a good way to avoid tailgaters? Increase your following distance to the car in front of you. This gives you more room to slow down gradually if needed. Question 40. When is it safe to return to your lane after passing another vehicle? When you can see the passed vehicle's headlights in your rearview mirror. Quick tip. The written test is mostly about knowing the rules and safety. The behind-the-wheel portion is about demonstrating them. They're looking for confidence, but also caution. Don't rush, and always use your signals. Final prep and pep talk. You've got the knowledge and you're ready. Let's do a quick lightning round of things they might try to trick you with. Question 41. True or false? You should always use your high beams in foggy conditions. False. They reflect off the fog and make it harder to see. You should use low beams. Question 42. How many feet should you signal before a turn? At least 100 feet. Question 43. What's the legal blood alcohol content, BAC, limit for a driver under 21? 0.00%. Zero tolerance. Question 44. You are at a four-way stop with another car. You both arrive at the same time. Who goes first? The car on the right. Question 45. What does a broken yellow line with a solid yellow line on your side mean? You can't pass, but the car on the other side of the road can. Question 46. What should you do if you miss your exit on the freeway? Go to the next exit. Never stop or back up on the freeway. Question 47. What is the purpose of a rumble strip? To alert inattentive drivers that they are nearing the edge of the road or a stop sign. Question 48. What is the maximum speed limit in a school zone with children present? 15 to 25 miles per hour, depending on the state. Question 49. When is it legal to turn right on a red light? When there is no sign prohibiting it, and you have come to a full stop and checked for traffic and pedestrians. Question 50. What does a white painted curb mean? It indicates a loading zone for passengers or mail. Now go to dmvtestmaster.com and start practicing. You've got this. Master the test and conquer the road with dmvtestmaster.com.